Hey guys, last week we did a breakdown on the SKT Wombo combo, and today we're going to take a look at a few TSM team fights that were actually godlike, like seriously well played. But let's jump into it. We're starting off with the Flash Wolves versus TSM game. TSM are actually behind in gold at the moment, but the comp kind of makes up for it now. It's pretty even, honestly, and the tanks on their team actually have the kills. The carries, if you look, have these same items, which is the important part. And the reason this is so good as a team fight is because it's not just Hauntzer who made a huge play. Every single one of TSM did something really good to make this work.
As TSM move forward, Sorta getting taken down by WT, barely lives, but Hauntzer, what a massive play!
So the first part of this is kind of the prep stage, I guess. We can see Tristana bashing down the turret. The shield from Lulu is on there, as well as the sensor, so you can take it really fast. Syndra is actually the important part of this bit, though. So there are two balls down here to threaten the Sejuani while the Tristana is hitting the tower. While Triss has been hitting it, Syndra has been using her Q instead, like staying actually further back. But this just means that Sejuani cannot walk forward because Syndra will have a guaranteed stun, and this is actually how they start the fight. So after the stun, Sejuani does use her ultimate, but we have an instant QSS on the Sejuani ultimate from Tristana, and she jumps straight out away afterwards as well, so she's completely safe. If he doesn't actually have QSS here, they would probably lose the fight, honestly, with the Cho'Gath silence and knock up or the Varus ultimate, which were in range. Other thing to keep in mind is that Hauntzer right now has his Narbar halfway. He is not ready to transform and he is not ready to fight, so TSM over the next couple of seconds are going to have to kite the fight out. This is really what we're looking at right now in this next part. Gragas is just buying time. He actually plays the fight really well, even though you don't necessarily think he did that much. His ultimate was here on the Sejuani. It knocks the Sejuani into Tristana and Syndra so they can do some damage, but also knocks the Varus away into the wall, so he can't actually do anything yet into the fight. Nar is still stacking his bar off on the side, trying to keep the Corki distracted. You can see he's actually hitting that one instead of the Cho'Gath. The TSM backline really here are all grouped safe together behind the two tanks, so their formation on TSM is actually really smart at the moment. You have to go through the tanks first while they build up the time for the Narbar. This is where it gets a bit risky because Gragas actually uses E into Sejuani for the knockup, and to still keep them a bit more distracted, Nar needs a little bit more time. You can see that all 5 of Flash Wolves right now are actually looking at him. It's really hard to tell in games, but when we freeze frame like this, all their champion models are facing his direction, which means they are walking towards him. Redemption here from Flash Wolves actually baits them into grouping, and the Narbar is almost full. So that's kind of the first mistake, is actually using Redemption weirdly. We then finally get the Varus ultimate that was used on Gragas, and it's going to spread to Tristana and Syndra. So it looks actually really good for Flash Wolves at this point. They have the Taric ultimate coming down now as well, and because they're grouped, it's going to protect all 5 of them here. That is why they're obviously sticking together. Redemption and the Taric ultimate together is really insane. Lulu, though, has a really clutch Crucible onto the Gragas to cleanse that Varus R and speed him up from her W to let him run out alive. Gragas probably overstayed a little bit, but this is actually what lets TSM turn the fight around. Without Crucible, Sven is going to die. The Gragas is going to be dead, and Flash Wolves will run at them with a 5-man Taric ult and probably win. Syndra and Tristana, if you watch, are both going to run backwards to avoid the Varus ultimate, and then that lets them re-engage afterwards. This is where we get to the interesting part. So Gragas was able to get out completely because of that Crucible. Flash Wolves have stacked his 5 with the Taric ult, but the Crucible caught them off guard massively. It's not something you normally buy a third, and they have nothing left to catch TSM, but the Narbar is now full, and you can see Hauntzer is walking towards the enemy team. Syndra is actually going to set this up, which most people missed here. Like, Bjornsson actually lands a 3-man stun with his E right here onto Taric, Corki, and Cho'Gath. This is actually why they have a 3-man clump at kind of the front of it that the Nar manages to land a W on in a second, but that wouldn't have happened without the Syndra stun. Nar waits a second as well to waste the Taric ultimate before he transforms with his jump. He could go right now, but he's not because he's waiting for the Taric ult. This then is the glory part. The Nar 5-man ultimate after his double jump on a minion, slamming them all into the wall. Literally, by the way, pixel perfect to hit all 5 here. It was a crazy play. You can actually still see the stun part over Corki's head here, meaning they can't flash away or get further back. That was the stun setup from the Syndra previously, which actually is really important. Lulu's actually pressed her R onto Nar as well for a 4-man knockup, which is pretty crazy. It doesn't really get noticed because the Nar ult came in straight away afterwards, but it did kind of disable them for an extra half a second. Unfortunately though, Syndra has no mana at all and doesn't have that much damage left to follow this up. That's partly why not many people really die. So after we have the ultimate, right, we have this 3-man W stun straight afterwards onto the Corki, Cho'Gath, and Taric from the Nar. The Varus is actually below. He's got QSS. He's hitting this Nar like consistently, but he's stunning these 3 instead to keep them in front so that Tristana and Syndra can follow up and they can blow them up from the front front line. Something you see a lot of pro players do is actually just play the fight slow, and what that means is they take the front line first and then work their way through the tanks. The interesting thing here though, even though obviously this is a TSM play, it was really good, Cho'Gath from Flash Wars actually saved the entire team from losing the game here. Tristana would have 100% wrecked this otherwise. She has got a lot of damage, she has the Lulu and the sensor as well. What makes it even more insane is he was stunned by Syndra and then Gnar ultied immediately afterwards. In the fraction of a second between those two crowd controls, he manages to get his Q out. You can see at the top of the screen, it actually knocks up both Tristana and Syndra, so there is no damage follow-up to the massive engage. They end up only losing one player on Flash Wars because of that Cho'Gath knockup, but that was still an inhib for TSM and basically sealed the game. It was such a sick play, and the kiting as well to prepare for it. The ultimate was insane from Hauntzer, right? But Sven actually baited and kept them distracted, buying time really well. Doublelift has a perfect QSS. Biofrost has this clutch crucible to save Sven and keep him alive, and Bjergsen's 2 stuns that set up the first fight and the follow-up afterwards. Every member of TSM actually did something huge here, and that is why it's so cool to look at. Right, so now this is a different TSM game versus WE, but awesome in a different way. Less flashy of a team fight, but just as important because it basically won them the game.
By many analysts, the best AD carry and trying to hit the engage.
Oh, straight through. Biofrost trying to charm up the entire team. WE, and he's got a few. It looks like they got the number on Ben as well. Goes down a double kill for Bjergsen.
So at the very start of the fight, just before it begins, we can see that Zyra is actually top lane, and TSM know this. So this is going to be a 4v3 in the mid lane. You can also see Cho'Gath on the minimap right now. Cho is right on top of Shen. 100% he is telling the rest of the TSM that Shen cannot ultimate right now because he will get immediately cancelled. The first of the really cool plays in this team fight is a Rakan. He flashes over the Syndra E and I guess a Sejuani ultimate. The Sejuani ultimate was really bad. It was really slow. It was kind of delayed, but still, I guess you can kind of count it if you want to. He definitely flashed over the Syndra stun though. This is pure prediction, right? He's in range for a straight RW here. You can see already, he can just press W and it's fine. But if he did that, Syndra stun would have actually got him and this would have never happened. Just to show you a little bit later, Syndra E here and Sejuani are here. Both dodged with the flash, and now Rakan has got a double charm. Even though he isn't in this actual fight, Cho'Gath is still on top of Shen bot lane. There is no way for him to ultimate in yet when he definitely wanted to. Immediate Shen ult onto the Syndra and Taric ult would have kept him alive. So finally we do have the Taric ult onto him and Sejuani. He's got the other pairing onto Sej. He is next to the Syndra, so she will still get the invulnerability though. Syndra ults the Rakan to try and delete him. He doesn't though, but he does actually have to leave. So it's not too bad because now it's a 3v3. Gragas actually is the game changer here though. This barrel, which is Gragas ultimate, is going to change the entire fight. Spencer Garen has been getting a lot of abuse, I think, from the Worlds for not playing that amazingly, but this pretty much won the game. So with Corki, we have this huge burst damage from Q and a big rocket. You would have guessed, you can maybe say if you're a TSM fan, that he prepped a big one ready for the fight like a big rocket for its more damage, but who knows. Tristana is going to be jumping forward here, ignoring the tanky Sejuani and going straight for the Syndra because if she dies, they win the fight. So Gragas' ultimate landed here in the middle of Syndra and Taric. Now, how he managed to do that and split them, I have no idea because they were standing right next to each other, but this is disgustingly good. This is the aftermath of that amazing Gragas ultimate. Taric is now out of range of Syndra and she is not going to get the ultimate anymore. The reason they win this so hard. Really, Sejuani misplays this actually. She should flash over the wall right now on top of her and give her the immunity to damage. It's hard though, like in a heat at the moment when it's not even your ultimate, but that would have been a better play. Syndra gets blown up completely. Sejuani is basically bailing on this fight to go towards the Zai, who is running down. And finally we get the Shin shield, but Syndra is already dead and the Taric ultimate has run out, meaning he's not going to last at all. The last thing here, you can't see it, but Cho'Gath actually walks underneath the turret to use his Q and interrupt the Shen. Even if Taric lasted here, Shen wouldn't have joined the fight at all. If you watch the minimap more than the chase here on the screen, Cho'Gath is just running away as far away as he can get from Shen so that he can TP and join the Baron with Feast, meaning that even though the Sejuani is alive, this is a completely safe and free Baron for TSM. Without the TP, Sejuani could have possibly stolen it away, so this TP is actually pretty important. You can see it a little bit more when they show the replay of what happened bot lane, like the Cho versus a Shen during the fight. This is just as TSM engaged, right? He silences Shen, meaning he cannot cast his ultimate anyway, and chases him under his tower. I'm pretty sure Hauntzer did this deliberately, but he turns away from the tower, giving Shen the false sense of security that he can actually finally ult, and then he uses his Righteous Glory to close that gap and uses Q to interrupt it. That means Shen hasn't joined, and he can now run away and TP into the Baron fight. It was a really good fight from TSM. TSM, knowing Xayah was top lane anyway, but the Rakan engage flashing over the stuns, the Gragas ultimate splitting Taric away from Syndra, and the play from Cho'Gath to delay the Shen ultimate really meant they could actually make it work. They got Baron afterwards, they take control of the game, and this game was completely even at this point, but the play shot them into the lead. So that is the TSM stuff for today. If you want to see the SKT Wombo combo, there is a link down below. Definitely check it out. Let me know if you see any other fights you want me to break down, but for now, thank you for watching, and I'll leave you with the robots.